What's up, everybody? This is the Produce Your Own Life show. My name is Rodney. I'm the host and creator of the show. Make sure you go to Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and any other podcast platform. Like, rate, and share this podcast. Also, make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to the Produce Your Own Life Network. Today, I have a pretty exciting show. I have actually back-to-back shows.
Yes.
Two back. So I got a full day for you guys, and I'm excited to have as my first guest, to start the day off, very good friend of mine who is an incredible singer, songwriter, community activist. Without further ado, everybody show some love for my guest, Reina, Mora, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Rodney. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Oh, well, I just appreciate you coming into the show on a Saturday morning, you know.
I mean, you're also an amazing community activist, and you've done a lot, and we met through activism. So yes. I'm so honored to be here and honored to be asked to be here. So thank you.
All right. Everybody's all honored. Everybody's all honored
As
to be
we
here.
should be.
And we also have a very incredible gentleman, Iran, who's a musician and songwriter and everything else. Composer. Who's they're also gonna give us an incredible song too. We're gonna hear that during this interview.
Yes.
So just talk to me. What's been going on? We had COVID and the world stopped.
The world did stop. I mean, it was weird because it did stop, but it gave us time to refresh, regroup, understand what we really want out of life. I feel like deal with our emotions because even me, I was constantly on the go.
Yes.
And constantly moving and constantly busy. So busy that I forgot to stop and think about, myself and my own emotions and what I was feeling.
Yeah.
And so much so that I went through a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, during the pandemic.
All right.
Which a lot of people are like, what, a divorce? Yeah, I just couldn't handle being stuck in a house with somebody who I wasn't in love with anymore, who we were constantly fighting all the time. So it was just not a good environment. And for a person who thrives off of inspiration, like songwriting, I did what was best for me, which was really, really hard because it was a long, long marriage. We were together for almost 11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had met your husband too.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I just, I'm not.
It surprised you because you're like,
But I kind of knew a little bit.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of knew because you can kind of see it from the outside looking in. We just, didn't really. There wasn't that connection that you get when you see a married couple.
Yeah. That
you're like, oh my God, like look at them. They look perfect together. They look so happy,
Looks are very deceiving too.
Yeah. And then some people are like the opposite, like, oh, well, you guys look like so happy. Like, why? What happened? And it's weird. So I had, when you get out of a marriage, you have to explain yourself in a way.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh, well, what happened? And then other people were like, oh, I saw that coming. The people that were close to me saw it.
Saw something.
Exactly.
And it was just funny because when you said you had got a divorce, I saw a little twinkle.
Yes.
I was like, oh, all right. That's why I was like, oh, okay. Hey. So it wasn't like exactly a bad thing. It was kind of a thing like, hey, we've come to Boys to Men, end of the road.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And you know what? Like, people change.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And unfortunately, we had an age gap.
Yeah.
He was 9 years older.
Okay.
And,
sugar daddy.
Yeah, kind of. With that age gap came the idea, just different morals, different objectives, different goals.
Yeah.
And, he was in a point in his career where, he had a business and he was comfortable and he didn't want to really do much. And I was like, I need to do more.
Yeah.
I'm still young. I'm still vibrant. I gotta grow. And we just grew apart. Ultimately is what it was.
There's a saying, and we learned this from a old pastor I knew. He said, pressure reveals what's in you. And COVID put a lot of pressure on a lot of couples during that time. And, That's why really wasn't surprised, because I've heard about a lot of couples just saying, okay, I have to really deal with you in this level. I don't think we are really going in the same direction, matching right. So
Exactly.
I get it. We understand. And,
Yeah. And
but,
it's
yeah.
just crazy because it happened during that time, but it needed to happen.
And it was happening before that.
Yeah, no, it was. We, like, honestly, I was going to therapy, and during therapy sessions, I was venting about how unhappy I was in my marriage. So, and that was like 2 years in. It just got complicated because he got diagnosed with MS, and
wow.
It was really hard. And like, I had just lost my mom,
Yeah.
so I was going through a lot of turmoil emotionally and feeling kind of guilt of if I was to leave, but even though I wasn't fully in it.
Yes.
And so that's, the real reason I stayed a little longer than I should have,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I was not fully in it.
You felt the responsibility, like, I'm his wife.
Yes.
I want to be there and support him.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And I did try, to, like, when he got diagnosed, I was like, okay, let's work on us, and let's try to get you healthier, and let's try to do things. But he never changed. He never wanted to change. And I think was the tipping point for me.
Yeah.
And that's when I was just like, I can't. If you don't want to change with me and grow with me, then I can't force you to. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't force him to drink the water.
Yeah, if they're not trying to drink the water, you got to move on, because both of y'all gonna be thirsty.
Exactly.
And so I'm just glad that you are just really. I can see the glow on
Thank you.
And
thank you.
I think somebody else in the room has something to do with the glow.
Yes.
So it's kind of like
it's weird because like everybody saw it. Like, I also kind of moved on quickly. But
I'm not put like this. Before you go into this, I'll tell everybody. Everybody needs to mind their own business.
Yes.
Mind your own, because I've been married 25 years. I tell everybody, we work very hard at our marriage, communication, everything. So when anybody got something to say about my marriage, I'm like, please, whatever. I was like, no, you need to look in the mirror.
Yes.
And you need to deal with that person you see every day.
Absolutely.
You deal with that person, that's enough for the day. You're tired.
Exactly.
I'm exhausted after dealing with myself. How about you? So
yes.
you're tired. So now pass the ball back over.
I think what it is too. When you're in a marriage and you're not willing to compromise, you're not, like, if one person is more compromising than the other, and if one person is doing more work than the other, then it's not really equal. And I felt like it was just an unequal relationship. Also, like, he didn't want to change, and it was very hard for me. And I tried to make it work.
Yeah.
But honestly, I finally, like, being out of it and being on the other side of it and seeing it from the outside looking in now, I have a completely different perspective of who I was while I was there and why I was in it for so long. Like, he did give me a sense of stability that I never had growing up, because, I grew up moving from place to place to the point where I was homeless at times.
Yes.
And, I struggled. And I was always the stability for my mom when she couldn't find work.
Tito, we need some tissues. Where the tissues at? Keep going.
Yeah, so it's like I was a stable one for my mother.
Yes.
Who, when she was struggling. So when I found somebody who was older and who became that stability I never had.
Yes.
He gave something that I, for me, like, I never spoke about this publicly.
Man, I feel honored that you're sharing on this show. This is
it's
amazing.
deep. It's
deep.
Yeah.
Please share. A lot of people need to hear this though.
Yeah, he gave me something that I always wanted, and I think that's why I stayed in the relationship for so long. And I didn't realize that until therapy.
Yes.
Until I went and I was like, oh, like this is why. Yeah. And then I was like, but I can be independent. I can do everything on my own. I've done mostly everything on my own, whether it was starting any music career with any band or even my own as Reina Mora.
Yes.
I did everything independently. So it was like, why did that feel safe? And that, like, and even though it was toxic in other ways. And I think, coming to terms with how I was feeling and finally going to therapy and getting the help that I needed made me reflect and made me realize, like, oh, I need to get out of this. And, outside looking in, everybody has their own opinions. Outside looking in, they have their own, which is, again, all I care about is my happiness, because I got to live with myself at the end of the day.
I'm soft clapping because I don't want to blow the mics up, but I'm really happy for you because that's something that many people will stay unhappy in a situation and miserable.
Yeah.
And then as they get older, they start to resent that person.
Exactly.
And anger and bitterness comes up.
And I started resenting him. I did. And it's funny because like there's this song that says "El acostumbre es más fuerte que el amor."
Oh, okay, all right, okay, all right.
In Spanish.
All right.
And it's basically stating like being comfortable with somebody is stronger than love.
Mm. Wow.
It's stronger than being comfortable is stronger than love.
Yeah.
And I think we do that sometimes. We just stay in what is comfortable, what is easy, what we know, because we're too afraid to get out of it and then see the other side, not knowing what we're gonna get out of it.
Oh my goodness, that just I'm serious. Go ahead.
Well, that's very vibrant. I mean, we're both Caribbean, Puerto Rican, Cuban.
Yes.
That not trying to stereotype too much, but it's a very repeating thing that you hear in the Latin culture.
Yeah.
Oh, just you're fine, you're comfortable, you have it all. Why would you want to leave?
And that's
why
what
would you
many
want
people
to
were telling
risk
me.
Yeah.
Everybody,
your happiness.
Everybody was telling me that. That's the funny part.
And it's you have to search. It's what you've been saying. You have to think about your own happiness.
Yeah.
Which is such a cliche.
Yeah.
And as a teenager, and we've spoken about this pretty much every day since we met, is why are cliches cliches? Same lines have been carried for decades. Why?
Yeah.
Because they're true. At the end of the day, your happiness is the most important part. Because like you said, you have to live with it.
Yes.
You have to live with yourself.
Unfortunately, we live through a time because of social media that everybody has an opinion about everything.
That's correct.
You either like, don't like, comment, put the angry face.
Or unfollow.
Or unfollow.
Or block.
Yeah.
And that somehow that gives people the right to voice your opinion, like you said, on your marriage. What? No, you have no idea what goes on behind closed doors.
No.
Good, bad. So it's just you have to think about your own self, your own happiness, which is the hardest thing to do.
It is.
Yeah.
And one important thing I learned, like my wife and I, we did couples therapy and marriage therapy. I believe in it.
I believe in it too.
And I've done therapy myself. And one thing we learned is that it's not my responsibility to make her happy, and it's not her responsibility to make me happy.
Exactly.
I need to be able to look in the mirror. I need to be happy with the person I see every day. And oftentimes that causes struggles in relationships too. This is just great, man. It's like I knew this discussion was going to go in a great direction, and it didn't disappoint, man. It really didn't. I'm just loving it. So keep going, because I'm curious, like, how did this connection come real quick?
Oh yeah.
You can give us a cliff note.
No. We'll give you.
Okay.
We'll give you the full story.
Oh, okay. All right. Exclusive.
No, it's like you said, Rodney. Creative minds, it's a different breed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're constantly trying to search for that level of happiness, satisfaction that changes kind of every day.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to do this. All right, I'm gonna research. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna do it. All right, cool. On to the next step.
Yes.
I was a teacher for 10 years back in Miami. Yeah.
Wow.
And I loved it. I was born into a family full of educators.
Okay.
And I decided I'm going to be a teacher. My parents told me, don't do it. My mom just retired this past week after 65 years of service.
65 years. Oh, wow.
Because in Cuba back then, there wasn't an age minimum requirement. They just started because there was a teacher shortage back in the 50s.
Okay. Oh, boy.
So she told me, don't do it. You're going to regret it. It's like, you guys are doing it. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
But I loved it. I mean, I love working with kids. I love teaching. But it gets to a point as creatives that's like, I have so much more to offer in my life.
Yes.
I'm getting it's such, teaching is a selfless career.
Yeah.
It's about the kids. If you can ignore the politics behind, especially public education, you have it set. But it's eventually got to the point where it's like, I can do so much more with my life. I moved to LA.
Yes.
And with the goal of I'm going to fulfill my creative soul. And that's kind of what, as a film composer, because that's what I do.
That's what he went. He studied his master's in Berkeley.
Everybody, listen up, especially filmmakers. I'm a filmmaker too, so that's why we'll be connecting.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's an amazing composer.
Yes.
but it's what connected us was that, like you said, that glow to just like right now you have it in your face to just
Twinkle.
to you just want to create.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it's just that's the air that just keeps me breathing.
It's oxygen for us.
It's oxygen, you know, creating, and that's what started our friendship. You know, not passionately or love relationship, just let's just create, let's write music.
Yeah.
And we started writing music with the intentions of
pitching it for sync or
for other artists.
Or for other artists. We didn't really think about like we're gonna form a band for
Not
this.
at all.
We're not gonna
Not
gonna obviously fall in love. None of that was in our rear view.
But that's how it gets started. With the intention was just to be friends.
Yeah.
And because you have this commonality together.
Oh yeah. And we have like parallel lives, which is the scary part because he grew up in Miami, and before I moved to LA, I lived in Miami, like right around the corner to him.
And I visited through my performing arts time in high school.
Okay.
We used to visit a lot of high schools to perform music. I visited her high school while she was there.
No way.
So if you can somehow see both people, you know, through both lenses,
it's crazy.
We met somewhere in the middle. And when we visited Miami last year, you know, she's like, oh, you know, let me show you my neighborhood. And I was like, I've been here so many times.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's amazing, right? But
this is crazy.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of beautiful moments, you know, that unplanned, you know, completely improvisational.
And it's crazy because he's like, oh, please forgive my family. They're loud. I'm like, have you met my family? They're Puerto Rican. They're loud as hell. And then he finally met my family. He's like, okay, I get it.
But it's
this is cool.
It's something that we spent so many months in the beginning, you know, talking about is trying to make sense out of it. It's like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Because when we first met for the first time, we just exchanged one word. It's like, hi, nice to meet you. Fast forward 8 months, that's when we actually took the time to just like, oh, you want to write some music and all that stuff. But before that, it was just we weren't in each other's
during those songwriting sessions, because you know songwriting is so therapeutic.
Yes.
And we kind of bare our souls and share things that we normally wouldn't, you know.
Yeah.
Because like for me, like my therapy is by songwriting as well. And so that's honestly what connected us even more together was the fact that we were writing so deep personal stuff. And you know, I was lacking that communication in my marriage at the time, and you know, getting it from songwriting and getting it obviously and getting a communication with somebody that I just met, and like,
it's just different frequencies. I mean,
and we were feeling we were on the same frequency constantly, and it was just that's why it just after I left we connected, and yeah,
I can relate to you guys.
Yeah.
You know, we're being a creative. My screenwriting or producing that's how I make myself extremely vulnerable. So
and your book, you wrote a book.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Don't forget about your book.
I forgot about that.
Do not forget. I still have it. I have it signed. I was so proud of it.
I'm working on another one. So
Good.
Everybody will know. But it's not about me right now.
Yes.
It's about y'all. So we gotta, but you know what? I don't want you to give us a full song because everybody needs to download the music to hear the full song. But if you can give us a little snippet, like 30 seconds to a minute or a couple of.
We'll give you a couple snippets.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because we are doing this. Again, Reina Mora is on hold right now, and I have some songs that I've been writing, and I'll be working on hopefully with Iran as well. But for Willowcrest, that's been our main focus. We've already released one single, which is called "Look at Me." It's out, and that was right after my divorce. So, so like that song.
Hey, I'm here.
That song was literally about that, and so this next song we're gonna perform is one that we just wrote this past month.
Okay.
And it's when we wrote it because we're doing this Bandcamp initiative. You want to elaborate more on it?
So pretty much because of the pandemic,
yes,
our goal has been how can we be as interactive with our fans, with audience, music listeners. We're looking for that personal connection.
Yes,
because everybody's stuck in their house, So we wanted to, a song every week, write a song every week, and release a demo every month. And put it up on bandcamp.com. And it lives there for the duration of the month, for 30 days.
Yeah.
And you can grab it, you can listen to it, you can pay whatever you want for it.
$1.
$1. We've had people pay $10, $20 for it. because at the end of the day, it's art.
Yes.
You know, we got into a point that, oh, Spotify, you can listen to any song, but you wouldn't say the same thing if you go to an art museum. You know, an art museum costs $30, $35, and you're there for 2 hours.
Yes.
And, you know, so it's been a great support from everyone, listening to music and paying whatever they can. Even if you can't pay anything, you can choose your own price. You can choose to buy it for free.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And that's Bandcamp?
Bandcamp.com/Willowcrest Music.
Yeah, bandcamp.com. We'll put that in the notes /Willowcrest Music, which we will definitely have that in the notes as well. So.
But we're releasing a song every month, and we take it out after 30 days.
Okay.
To kind of offer you that level of exclusivity. Once you have it, that's it.
Yeah.
No one else in the world will ever have access to it.
Oh, wow.
So we're gonna do a little clip of the one that we just released this past month, which is called Contortionist. And it's about, you know, like how you can give more of yourself than you should to somebody.
That's definitely true.
Dusted off the chip on your shoulder, fighting your demons like a martyr. Wasn't I good? Wasn't I great? Always there, like it was my fate. You call me your best friend, but when the tables turn, you are nowhere to be found. Sometimes our better angels escape me, 'cause when I think about it, I see red. I bet it I broke myself in two just to be with you. A contortionist, flexible with my time and my energy. I'm making you happy. I abandoned me. That's a little snippet.
Man, I was listening to the lyrics. I really do. As I've matured, I paid much more attention to lyrics, and those some very, very powerful lyrics.
Yeah.
Wow. And the name of the song again, so everybody knows where to get it?
It is called Contortionist.
Contortionist.
And you can get it on bandcamp.com/Willowcrest Music.
Yeah, we'll put that out there. That'll be in the show notes as well, and on the audio podcast everywhere, where you can make sure you have a reminder of how to get that.
Yes.
Man, that's a beautiful song. I can't wait to get a taste of the full album. You guys coming together. You know, this is some beautiful stuff here. You know, it's kind of cool to work with the one you love. Huh?
Yes. It's cool.
Challenging also.
It can be in a good way. I feel like it's funny because I had worked in my past relationship would help him build his business.
Yes.
And that was just a bad idea. And we just didn't work well together.
Okay. Well, that's a learning experience.
Yeah, that's no. Again, a learning experience. Yeah. And I was really nervous, to be, we started working together. So it wasn't like, we were, together while we were working.
Right.
So when we started becoming a couple, it just flowed naturally.
Right.
So it didn't feel like a bad thing. And also we were doing something we both love.
Right. Yes.
And I think that's the difference. When you're both doing something you love, it's just you set aside any ego, any issues. And we're very much non-judgmental because obviously, writing something that is personal to you. And he's also great at coming up with melodies and guitar ideas and production, and he's just incredible. So it's honestly, he's I call him the music to my lyrics.
Man, that's a nice little line.
Yeah.
If my wife didn't hear you say that, I would use it. I can't use it.
You can still use it.
but I think it's when both parties come with equal stakes. I think that's what it is. My mother has a joke, she presented to us, it's 50-50.
50-50.
You know, and it takes two to tango. You know, again, with cliches, that's what it is. It's without the other half, it doesn't work.
Mhm.
It might work at the beginning, it might work for a while, but eventually you get to a point where, well, what am I getting out of it? What am I getting out of it? Okay, we're both at 100% each. And it's just like you said, it's I can't worry about your happiness onto me, and you know, vice versa.
Right.
Both halves have to be working truthfully on themselves in order to give 100%
To
each other,
Right.
to what you're doing at the time. And it's all about trust.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I think we're both really confident in who we are as individuals and as individual artists too. And I think, you know who I am as an artist. He knows who he is as an artist. So coming together, we're just blending in what we know and growing from each other.
You guys are reminding me of a group, a husband and wife team. They're singers. Old school, Angelo and Veronica. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Nice. We'll have to check them out.
Look them up. They're I saw them perform in the late 90s. Amazing. But the chemistry was there because the relationship existed, like the friendship before the intimacy, all that stuff came along. They really were just, hey, we're on the common ground with each other, you know, and we're building something. Next thing you know, you look each other in the eye like, oh, I like you.
That's pretty much what happened. You're like, I'm feeling something. I'm feeling some kind of way.
Yeah.
And mentioning challenges, working with your partner, living with your partner.
Yeah.
We start every day with a business meeting. You know, just like a normal business. It's like, all right, what's our goal for today? Yeah. What's our goal for this week? And we don't always see
because we're doing everything right now independently.
Yes.
And we've been growing, honestly, and it's been exciting to see, like, literally from what we've done in 6 months.
6 months.
6 months, and we've gotten 2 live streams, which we had a great turnouts for both, and then we had our show at the Mint. And we're going to be booking some more shows, hopefully coming up soon. And
I'll be at one of the shows.
Yes, please. We would love that.
I will be there.
Yeah.
So.
But the most important part, I think, for us is to be as authentic as possible. Mm-hmm. Again, going back to, we live in a world of social media.
Yeah.
Pictures are so misleading, and that's not what we wanted to represent.
Yeah.
So you didn't want to do that living my best life picture?
Yeah.
There's no
none of that. I think we're honest. I think even we just did a Indiegogo campaign.
Yes.
To help us with our music video. I mean, it's not gonna, like, the amount that we're asking is not like gonna pay for the full video.
It's like 20%.
It's like 20% of the video.
We need to share that on here.
Yes, definitely. But it's to also, like, to have the fans involved. Yeah. And have people involved in it and feel invested, and they're our executive producers and helping us make our dreams possible.
It truly takes a village.
It does.
It's not. Probably the biggest thing that attracted me to her friendship at the very beginning was I went to a concert of hers, and she opened up about her mother, her illness, and her mother passing.
Yeah.
And that was the first. I was dealing with tons of depression at the time.
Mm-hmm. I've had it out.
And moving to LA, working in the film industry, it's just deadlines nonstop. The industry doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. So who do you confide in that it's like, I need to press a button and just like, and there's like this cloud of depression. And this is something we would speak about every time we would get together, talk about music and such. It's like, how do you talk about depression without turning off, pushing away people? Because some people don't want to hear about it. Some people, it's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Good. All right, cool. Hey, how you doing? Well, I'm dealing with sometimes. Like, no, that's fine.
They don't want to know.
There are, and then there are people who are like, super, like, I believe in toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Where people are just like, oh, if you're not in my energy or you're not positive, get out of my space. You know what I mean? And I'm like, but you yourself deal with depression. Exactly. So if you have no empathy for other people, how could you expect them to have empathy for you when you're down?
That's facts. Yeah.
So, and that's what I try to say. Like, it's great to be positive, and I believe in positivity, and I believe in the power of it. But also, it's good to talk about the emotions that we don't get to talk about with people we can trust.
And that is one thing that I've learned. is that when you can have people who are genuinely concerned about you,
Yes.
and you can be positive. Being positive is like, hey, I'm being real. This is what's happening with me, and somebody to say, hey, I'm gonna get in the trenches with you. You're not gonna go by yourself. That's when you find out who's really there for you.
Exactly.
It's easy when you're at the top.
Exactly.
Everybody is there. Everybody's in the.
Oh, trust me, I saw who was there for me after my divorce.
You saw real quick, didn't you?
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it was, what I said? Like, thank you. You threw out the trash for me, because that's how I see it. It's like, I don't want people in my circle who don't want what's best for me.
Copy that. Sorry to use the stage term, but I'm serious.
It's true.
If you can't roll with me when I'm going through, don't call me when I'm on top.
Exactly.
Don't call me.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's so many people who do that. I'm like,
But again, it goes back to, I think we just get carried away with the social media part.
Yeah.
I only want you in your highs. Oh, you're at Santa Monica Beach. Hey, you want to hang out, grab a drink later? Oh, I'm going through my downtime. I just went through a divorce. It shouldn't be that way,
No.
So I saw her in concert and performing her own music, Reina music. This was before we had even started talking. Then she opens up about, her mother passing. It's like, what? Wow. Someone's playing a concert and she's opening up about this. It was so inspirational to me, because I was going through depression at the time. And I told her afterwards, I just want to thank you so much for inspiring me to just open up about my depression, for making me feel comfortable about just talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what kind of opened up our friendship of just confiding in each other.
Fully communicative with each other.
And that's where the songwriting kind of started, of just writing, having therapy sessions. I started with my personal background, dealing with identity crisis.
Yes.
As an immigrant, I think most immigrants kind of deal with that. When you reach the United States and you've spent more years in a new country than you have in your original country, it's that identity part where your family kind of sees you as someone else.
Yeah. And I deal with that too, being Puerto Rican.
Right.
Because I spent most of my time in the States. So I think we related on that note a lot too.
Yeah.
And, when you're not in Puerto Rico, and I remember when I lived in Puerto Rico and I went to school there, and I was bullied. I was bullied extremely for not being born there. And I didn't have any friends. Nobody wanted to be my friend. Nobody wanted to talk to me. I was ignored.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My stuff got stolen. It was bad. It was like the worst bullying I've ever experienced in my life, because I wasn't a real Puerto Rican.
Oh. Why do we do this to each other?
Because I was born in the U.S.
It's like so unnecessary.
An American territory, right?
Yeah. It's like, really.
But it happens. I mean, even in the Caribbean. And I like to talk about the racism that happens there, because there's still racism there. There's a divide in our own countries that needs to be addressed.
You know what? And your music can actually be one way to help heal that.
I hope so.
That's what we hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's so critical. We talk about it, but a lot of people don't really want to address it. They want to gloss over it, but it is. It's a reality. The racism is definitely, it's never gone anywhere. When people say that, you hear, well, racism is just so high right now. I was like, no, it's just being filmed.
Exactly. That's what I said.
I went to a screening with Jamie Foxx for, I think, Mercy. And that's what he said. He's like, wait, this didn't just start. We just got high definition cameras that we can film it at any time.
That's it.
And I'm working on a project right now, just doing some mixing and about racism and about just the culture of it. And it's not an action, we just need to train police officers better. No, it's not an action. It's a system.
Yes. It's a system
it's something that not just in the United States, Puerto Rico, Cuba, it's something globally. That's instilled globally.
Yes.
And culturally as well. That you're white, I'm white as well by definition, but by our own cultures, it's you're not within our group. For me, I'm not as white. I'm a little bit tan.
Yeah.
But if I go to, when I went to South Carolina, when I was walking through the street, I would just see people looking at me like, where are you from? So it's perspective.
No, not even joking.
But it's right.
And why does it matter?
It doesn't.
That's probably the most important part. Why
Right.
does it matter?
Yeah.
Can we have a conversation? Great.
Yeah.
This is the first time you and I speak, and it's like I can just talk to you for hours. And that's the only thing that should matter. It shouldn't matter, about anything else.
It should not, because we're all, when you peel this back, we're all red. Well, blue. I guess our blood is blue until it hits oxygen. That's a science lesson. You know, your blood is actually blue until it hits the oxygen.
That's smart.
It's
I didn't know that.
I think
Thank you for that fun fact.
it goes back to, everything needs to be classified. Everything needs to be in its own system. And then you're different than me. Why? Why should it matter?
Yeah, it should not. And that's what the beauty of this is. What you all do as creatives, you have a chance to tell stories through your music that's going to promote healing.
Yeah,
That's why I love being a creative. It's the most influential industry in the world.
for sure.
I've worked in, the insurance, banking, stuff like that. That's beautiful.
I worked 9 to 5.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, but that doesn't control people's mindsets. And
Exactly.
what
Doesn't
we
change
can do.
people's
It doesn't
minds.
change. It doesn't. What we do influences the world.
Yes.
That's what we hope.
Yes. Even our first demo of the month we wrote was called Falling. And it was literally because we wrote it right on Edon's.
So
right
my
after.
birthday, January 6th. I wake up. All right.
Oh, I know, right?
We turn on CNN, and what is going on in the Capitol building? And I just went from we're celebrating today to what is going on in this country. I think the last time something like that had happened was like in the 1700s or 1800s.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching. I can't even. How does that happen in 2021?
Because these are issues that have not been addressed.
Well, of course.
Mhm.
Let's just
Well,
sweep it under the rug.
Yeah,
course,
that's
yeah.
what they always do, though.
Yeah.
And we had so much anger.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had
Okay.
lots of anger.
It's-
I did too. I was very angry.
I'm not even gonna lie. I was so pissed. I was like, we need to write about this.
How do you deal with it, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we wrote a song, and we we drew influences from just Americana music, Woodstock, which at that time it was very similar to what was
Like
going on
Bob
with
Dylan,
Vietnam.
because
Yeah.
Bob Dylan spoke about what was happening,
Yeah.
you know?
Sign of the times.
So,
Yes.
so it's just drawing every day. There's something that happens. Everyone's going through a story every day.
Yeah.
It's how do you zone in to what you want to express through every song. It's something that doesn't have a limit.
Yes.
Doesn't have a threshold because there's different emotions every single day.
Constantly. And that's what I love about music though too, because I'm able to learn so much through songs. I can still sing songs from when I was a kid.
Yes.
And I was like,
And
man,
it brings
I
you
really
back
wish
to that
learning
memory.
had
Absolutely.
that. I wish school had more music in learning, because I think there's a educator who's in Atlanta who
Mhm.
does like the songs with the kids, and I forgot his name, but
That's
I've seen the
amazing.
videos, and it's just amazing because all the kids are jumping up and
That's
singing.
what I love.
They'll never forget this stuff.
Nope. That's
I
right.
can't remember algebra, geometry. I can't remember none of that stuff.
Yeah.
I learned it for the test, and that was it.
Because you teach for the test.
That's it. That's it.
Depending on your state, you just teach for the test. After the test, doesn't
And
really matter.
honestly, it doesn't work for creatives to learn that, like, the rigid way of learning. And it's not a one size all fits solution either, because it doesn't fit for a creative. I mean, honestly, I'm so
Yeah.
grateful that I was homeschooled, in high school. So I didn't really go through the bullying there.
Yeah.
But,
Well, you might have bullying from the house.
well, that's other stuff.
Do your homework.
That's other stuff. But no, I was also working.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-oh.
yeah, I was working while I was like 17, 16.
You guys listen to this?
Yeah, I was working like 3 jobs at like 3 different restaurants in City Walk to help with the bills, or else we would have been homeless. So I rather
Wow.
work and and on top of that, I had a band. I had a rock band.
That's why when I met Reina, I was like, man, we were really cool,
Yeah.
because we found, like, out of the group that we're part of, we really found a lot of common ground.
Yeah, we
So it was pretty cool,
Yeah.
know. And we do have to give some props to Donna.
Yes,
You,
yes.
you matter, not alone. We have to show some love to that organization that combats
Thank you, Donna.
suicide. Yes, thank you, Donna. If you ever watch this, thank you so much.
She will.
She will. Tell her I said she better.
Yeah, she will.
But
She
we have
will.
to thank her, because her passion for combating suicide and helping veterans, but just kids, people everywhere. She's extremely passionate.
Yes.
very loving, and just an amazing person. So
she connected us, and
Yeah.
and that ultimately why we got to thank her.
Yeah. So much love to You Matter Not Alone. Make sure you guys follow that organization too on Instagram. Show some love for You Matter Not Alone.
Yes,
Yes.
please. Yes.
Yeah. So, it's like, I think we're running a little bit short on time because I want to make sure I respect your Saturday, because you might be going, might have some more songwriting to do. But
we're just actually right now we're setting up for our next music video.
Okay.
For our next single that's going to be released later this month.
And it's called Follow You.
Follow You.
Yes. And this one's actually a love song.
Oh.
This is a good
one. A love song.
It's about following your heart, even though other people might not agree with it,
My wife came in at the right time to get a love song.
We'll give you a little snippet of it.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
And the music video.
Yes.
Inspired by
it's for us, we're basing it off of the iconic love story of Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh. Yeah. Hey, I hashtag that sometimes. Bonnie and Clyde. So.
So this is for you.
All right.
This is for you and your wife.
Okay.
They will kill my name like it's open season, but I'm ready to run as fast as I can. They will not sympathize with good reason, but I'm ready to fly as far as Japan. Just to be in your arms. 'Cause boy, you shook me to my core. My head and my heart aren't at war. My eyes no longer see anyone else, so I follow you till the end. And that's just a little snippet of it.
I got some chills. You guys want to make sure you have somebody to follow you to the end.
Yes.
I want you guys to share every way that people can stay in contact and support your work and get involved with whatever's happening. So right now is your time to share it. So
I'll let you promote us, Iran.
Well, you can instead of giving you a bunch of links, a bunch of pages, just make sure to follow us on Instagram, Willowcrest Music. We pretty much are there on a daily basis, telling you what we're up to. Our Indigo.
We have a link tree.
Our link tree,
All
our
right.
YouTube videos, our NPR performance, our everything will be there. So just make sure to follow us there.
Okay.
And you'll stay up.
And then we also have a website if you want to go there.
Our website too, traditional. We're living in the 90s. Willowcrestmusic.com.
I mean, hey, no shade for the 90s. I love my 90s R&B.
Hey, that still has my heart.
I listen to that on a daily still.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, we just, again, be as authentic as possible, be as honest as possible, as empathetic as possible with the people around you.
Yeah.
And spread positivity. It doesn't have to be a cliche. It could just be as honest as possible with the person in front of you.
And let people talk and just be an ear, because sometimes that's all people need.
Wow. I don't think I have anything else to say on that. I want to thank you all, Reina and Iran, for coming and being a part of the Producer on Life show. And Willowcrest Music, make sure you follow on Instagram. This has been the Producer on Life show. Make sure you like, rate, and share the show on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, any other podcast platform. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Producer on Life show. Well, Producer on Life Network. Don't miss it. Make sure you like it when you watch the video. Watch the full video. Show all the love you can. Share it. And this has been the Producer on Life show. Remember to stop watching Inspiring Lives and become one.
Yes.
See you later.